Mike Krzyzewski, 815 wins. He's kind of knocking on the door of his mentor, Bob Knight. That's in his all-time career, 742 of those wins here at Duke. And Bob McKillop, 20th year, a guy who was the son of a New York City police officer, ended up coming through the Long Island high school system on through. It's a great run now for a couple of decades at Davidson. Mike Eads, Mike Stewart, Doug Sermons are officials here tonight. Davidson in the home red made the trip for about 2 hours and 20 minutes from just north of Charlotte here to Durham for the game tonight. Max Paulus, Gosselin to the basket. Misses, and Subek the first board for the Blue Devils. Figure we'll get a great atmosphere tonight, guys. School back in session today, and the Cameron Crazies all full of Mom's Christmas cooking. A three from Singler. And Nolan Smith at the point will get them organized.
You know, talking to Coach K, he said it didn't matter if they were back in school or not. These people here are loyal, and they would show up no matter what.
Gerald Henderson on the take, and the first foul tonight is whistled. It'll be on Curry, and that is a problem for Davidson. Curry is not known for playing the most defense in the world, but Jeff, it's one of the things you can't afford to get him in foul trouble.
No, you know, he's playing like in a double-edged sword. You say he doesn't defend with great intensity and passion, and yet they can't risk him in foul trouble. They don't have enough offense, particularly against this caliber of team, to win unless he has a special night as a scorer and as a passer.
Gerald Henderson coming off a good game on Sunday against Virginia Tech. First league game, first league win for the Blue Devils. He had 15 points, 8 boards, and 4 assists. 1 for 2 for the junior, but I think we're going to get another opportunity. A lane violation on Davidson.
And that's got to frustrate Bob McKillop, because at practice this morning, they worked for 3 or 4 minutes on their free throw blockouts. And for them to violate and give Henderson another look's got to be disappointing.
81% shooter makes him pay. All the Duke starters, very good free throw shooters. And as has been tradition in the Krzyzewski years, Duke gets to the free throw line much more than their opponents.
You see right away, Duke corralling Stephen Curry at half court, not allowing him to get anything in transition.
Andrew Lovedale tried to look, turns it over. First time for the night, Davidson gives it up. Smith loses it on the take, and back comes Max Paulus. Gosselin handling the ball a little bit more, give Curry a little bit of a break, but a turnover there that should be really credited to Curry. It was a bad pass he made.
And that's one place where Curry can really exploit any defense, is in transition. He gets it with a head of steam, or gets an advanced pass where he can get some separation. He's very difficult. I thought he should have looked to put the ball on the floor.
You want to embrace the double team. If the team is going to defend you that way, embrace it and then hit the open man. You got to be patient.
Shire penetrates. Corner triple off the mark for Singler. And Shire unable to get the rebound for Duke. Davidson is 10-2. They've played a conference game as well in the Southern Conference, and did it with a plum, beating College of Charleston. Very entertaining game. Matter of fact, they're 3-0 in the league to start the season. And another turnover, 3 in the first minute 50.
Well, I'll tell you what, over the last 3 years, Davidson 40-1 in their conference. I mean, you can't be more dominant than that.
You do have to look twice when you see the number. They've won 33 consecutive games in the Southern Conference.
I think they should have to play all their games on the road this year in conference to even it up a little bit.
Fair. How about 20 conference games? You're talking about banging your head against the wall. And that's not playing everybody twice. It's a travel up top by Singler. A lot of turnovers. Earlier, we say hello to Heather Cox.
Mike, if you have a star that you rely on as much as Davidson relies on Stephon Curry, the big question becomes, what do you do to keep him fresh? Well, Coach McKillop admitted after an ugly loss to Purdue that he's relying on the star way too much, saying, I'm asking him to shoot, I'm asking him to run the offense, and then he joked, I'm even asking him to deliver us from evil. So Coach has really lightened Curry's load by having others bring the ball up the court and substituting much more liberally. So, guys, tonight Coach hopes he's devised a game plan that includes a concession to the star player's mortal side, if there is one.
And one of those players who brings it up a little bit more is Brandon McKillop, the coach's son. And that essentially is a turnover and then exacerbated by the foul call on Davidson. That's the last 4 possessions Coach K's team has seen Davidson turn it over to them.
And frankly, a couple of them are just bad plays by Curry, bad passes. Duke, known for denial defense, are going to be in the passing lane. You've got to seal and throw the ball away from the defense.
Singler draws him. Good job by Shire to take it off the three-point line and get it to Henderson. 2.5 in, 2-0 Duke. Singler, 3. Kyle Singler's been in double figures, 12 of the last 13, 5-0 Duke.
That's just outstanding patience on the offensive end by Duke, turning shots down and getting better ones.
Job by Steve Rossiter to get a shot up, but it was a poor shot, and Henderson takes it away from Singler. No, you're not getting my rebound.
And I know they don't want to over-rely on Curry, but right now, to me, they're under-relying on Curry.
And I think Bob McKillop has a little sense of that as well as we get a timeout called by Davidson.
The way to do it is ball movement and man movement. Effective finding open man, and then Singler knocking down the three.
So timeout taken by Davidson, down 5-0, 3:05 into this. And you wonder, guys, the atmosphere for a smaller school like Davidson, but they've answered that question not just in the NCAA tournament, but this group, after losing 3 of their 4 top players last year, but retaining their stud in Curry. They played at Madison Square Garden in the Jimmy V Classic. They played at Oklahoma and hung with a very good Oklahoma team. So that opens your eyes right away, Jeff, that this is more than just a one-trick pony with just Curry.
Oh, no, they're a very good team. I just don't know against the Duke defense if they have enough guys who can beat you off the dribble, because they're a motion-type team, but Duke does a great job getting in passing lanes, switching screens. I think they're going to have a trouble scoring all night long.
No changes either way. Davidson turned it over 4 of its last 5 possessions. Curry hasn't taken a shot. Jon Scheyer handles the juke to the sophomore out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Nolan Smith. 7-footer Zubek handed it off. A 3 from Shire. And a rebound for Steve Rossiter of Davidson. Curry getting no space to dribble, but he's used to that. He's seen a lot of that.
It's very interesting. Their foreman of Duke, Singler, he can really move his feet. And I have to say this early.
Your man.
The White Lobster, the best nickname in college basketball. The White Lobster from Maine. Player of the Year in Maine a couple years ago.
Bryant Barr hits the 3 to make it a 2-point game. Henderson for Duke. Rebounded by Singler.
Really shows you the versatility of Singler, the things that he's able to do on the floor. Knock down the long ball, do the dirty work, the intangibles, that time offensive putback.
Jeff was sitting on the White Lobster line from 10 a.m. this morning. I just could not wait.
When I read that's too good.
Player of the Year, Mr. Basketball in Maine. Lovedale with the turnaround off the window. Rebounded by Zubek, who's pulling down 5 boards a game. Finally bringing Duke some interior presence that has been missing over the last couple. On cue for 2. Lovedale on the push. A nice response from Davidson. They have some fans in the house here tonight.
And Lovedale's an ACC-type athlete. And I think Curry, a very good advance pass, a good decision, hitting Lovedale on stride.
And by making those plays, that's going to take pressure off of Curry offensively and allow him to get some room.
They'll get this one on Henderson. It'll be Davidson ball out of the timeout. 4:50 gone by as we wait to see if Curry will heat up. It's been boxed in a little bit. It has been Duke and their star at the top. Singler with 5 points and a couple of boards as the Blue Devils jump out to an early lead against Davidson on ESPN. Back at Cameron, it is an early 9-5 lead for Duke. A month ago today, Davidson played NC State. Curry had 44, and watching Stephen was LeBron James, something that meant a lot to both guys.
That was a fun game for me, I think. He was right there on the sidelines, and I could see him out of the corner of my eye whenever I made a good play. We got on a roll. He was definitely having fun. I know for him to be able to be a fan every once in a while and just go to the games and just sit down and have fun watching a team play is pretty special.
once every 4 games thus far this year. Curry has had a 40-plus point game, 3 times over 40 in the first dozen games of the year. The relationship with LeBron James advanced through Curry working at James Summer Camp. That time, Duke, great denial defense on Curry, forcing the 5th turnover. Greg Paulus in the game for Duke as they give it up. And back the other way with Max Paulus Gosselin to make it 9-7.
Now you see, anytime Davidson just tries to play simple basketball, they get quality possessions. It's when they're trying to make home run plays when they struggle.
And I think they've got a much better chance of scoring in transition than they do in half-court offense.
Only sub for Duke at the timeout was Paulus. In for Nolan Smith. Paulus, the starting point guard for 2+ years. Lost the job to Smith. Good defense by the Lobster. And Curry take it away.
Did you just say the Lobster?
Yeah, the Lobster is out there for a moment. Curry gets free. Tees up Ben Allison on the drive. And that was an easy one. Duke draws charges better than anyone year in, year out. And Gerald Henderson leading the team doing that. Just took another one, his 9th of the year.
I would love to see the college game adopt the restricted area that the NBA game has, where you have to be out away from the basket further. I think the college game is hurt by so many charging fouls that occur too close to the basket.
Totally agree with you. And it would make it easier for the officials as well. It's one of those rules that has come down from one league to the other. That was called the travel before the charge. They wiped out the foul call with just the travel. David McClure checked in for Duke and kicked it out to Singler. 4-3. So Singler has 8 of the Duke 12, and the Blue Devils lead by 5. Ben Allison at the top, freshman from England. Very international feel. There are a half dozen players on Bob McKillop's roster. Will Archambault with a nice drive. Lovedale in the lane a long time. And the senior Paulus comes away with it. Greg Paulus, senior, lost his job, but has regained some of his health and confidence. Singler took a shot a moment ago, and he is shaken up. Shire puts it off the window. Same team, travel. Archambault and Lovedale couldn't decide who should take it. That's 7 turnovers in 7 minutes for Davidson, and the concern is for Singler of Duke. Take a peek. See how he took that shot. Just got a little wing from Max Paulus Gosselin. And free inbounds. We're going to get a foul called on Davidson.
I have enough trouble with names. When people go to the hyphenate names, I mean, that's really hard for me. I might just go with Gosselin or Paulus. But that's a great name. Max Paulus Gosselin.
Very hockey name.
Didn't you talk about how you were going to change yours?
Yeah. Well, you know, I love the Duke women's coach name, Joanne P. McCauley. I'm going to go with Jeffrey W. Van Gundy. And don't ask me what the W's for.
It's like the president.
That's exactly right. At some age, you go into putting your middle initial.
Only.
Yes.
Brendan McKillop, the coach's son, has checked in, number 1. He committed the foul, 3 inbounds. Sophomore is guarding Greg Paulus up top. 8 on the shot clock. Lance Thomas inside for Duke. And he will come to the line. Ben Allison picked up the foul mark. His second. Here's Thomas at the line. Averaging 7.5 a game. You guys remember Duke over the years, the Elton Brand type players. They always had an interior presence on their best teams. And as we've watched Duke over the last couple of years, that's been missing. And I think that's been part of the equation why Duke hasn't been able to advance in the NCAA tournament. So often you get to the jump shooting part of the season, and those shots become tougher to hit.
Well, and you're playing better and better teams. And if you're one-dimensional and you don't have a post game, it becomes very difficult if your pick and roll and your drive and kick game is not working.
1 of 2 at the line for Thomas. Duke leads by a half dozen. Brandon McKillop, the coach's son, his other son, is one of the assistants. And before the shot, we have a foul on the Blue Devils. We get Henderson.
Anytime I try to figure out how guys are coaches as we take a look at Matt McCullough, I take a look at their defense. And I see Duke's defense, the way that they extend, they get after it, they deny, they help each other. That's outstanding coaching.
Quick inbounds in the three for Will Archambault, who has been hot shooting the threes in the last few games. He's averaging about 10 points per, and Mike Krzyzewski told us guys before the game that was a concern. Archambault, good shooter from the corner. Paulus, he responds with a three. Boy, and the Duke fans are thrilled to see that.
Interesting thing, Coach K said, hey, Paulus got his confidence back when he was Curry for the second unit playing in practice.
First shot of the night for Curry, off the mark. So just think about Stephen Curry and the impact he has on the game. It took a long time till he got a shot. Paulus feeling it, not able to go back to back. Archambault will be called. That'll be his first, and we'll get a timeout under 12 minutes. Guys, 8.5 minutes. Curry only getting one shot so far.
If you're Bob McCullough, you don't mind where you are right now, not taking care of the basketball and Curry not getting off.
But this is a good sign for Duke, not just for tonight, but for the ACC. Greg Powell struggling early this year, demoted, but coming back strong with a three. Some coaches' sons, like Bob McKillop's here, help their dad stay employed.
Sure.
I got my dad fired, so, I had to keep on moving.
Speaking of fathers and sons, there is the dad of Stephen Curry, Del Curry, 16 terrific seasons in the NBA, and there is mom, Sonia. She gets a lot of airtime throughout. And Steph was telling us yesterday that he hears from his aunts and the rest of the people in his family of how Mom seems to be very fond of the people who decide which cameras go on TV on a regular basis, and they see her emotion in the game. Singler back in the game, traveled, and this first half has been replete with turnovers. 6 for Duke, 8 for Davidson. Now, Mom's only seen her son shoot once. What is this, Duke's defense, guys, or patience from Curry?
Well, Duke's defense is forcing the ball away from Curry. They're not allowing him to get it in transition. They're switching, so they're making it tough.
And I love how they're extending their hand, the bigger guys in his face, so he can't get any rhythm into his jump shot.
Lance Thomas doing the defensive job there. Turnaround by Max Paulus, Gosselin off the mark, and rebounded by David McClure for the Blue Devils. Senior out of Trinity Catholic High School, Ridgefield, Connecticut. Nice change of direction by Henderson, got inside, able to draw the contact and the foul. Well, we remind you about college basketball on ESPN Saturday. That every game in the Big East seems to be one matching top 25 teams. Louisville, Villanova, then you'll see the Dukies get back to ACC action in Tallahassee taking on Florida State. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy this Saturday on ESPN.
That was a terrible charge call.
It was a turnover. So it was right.
Yeah, they called a charge. I mean, the guy's not even there.
Why are you looking at Mike like he made the call?
See, the other guy you work with, Green, he's the one who has the officiating thing.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Go, okay?
You just have the same name. You don't, like pamper them the way he does.
Next, Paulus Gosselin with the hoops, and Davidson back within 4.
I think Green gives them manis and petties before the game.
Singler tied up, turns it over, another traveling call. So 8 turnovers on Duke to match the 8 by Davidson.
Well, you got to give credit to Curry also, not trying to force the issue. After a couple of consecutive turnovers, he's taking care of the basketball and picking apart the defense, finding his teammates.
And let's not overlook Davidson's great defense as well.
And you can see Coach K, Reed Lips past the ball. Davidson a chance to get within 2 or 1 as we come across the halfway mark of this first half. That is a 3 from Bryant Barr. Rebound by McClure. Limited action, 3 boards a game. McClure, Nolan Smith, Shire, Singler, and Lance Thomas for Duke. That's a good defense by Gosselin, forcing another Duke turnover.
I am very impressed with their Davidson's overall aggression defensively. You just look at this. Max Paulus, Gosselin.
And he has every right to say, hey, I can't defend Smith, he's too quick. But he gets up and trusts the defense behind him.
What value do you guys put into the schedule Davidson's played here in the early going, playing the likes of Oklahoma in Norman, playing NC State, playing West Virginia in New York?
I think as a coach and a program, looking at the big picture down the road, it's going to pay dividends.
And really only got it handed to him by Purdue. Every other game, those guys, they won or were very competitive.
And another traveling call. That is 9 per side. Well, that's one thing we don't see in the NBA, guys. We don't see 9 turnovers per side in the first 10.5 minutes of a game.
Oh, I thought you was going to say traveling.
I was going to say that. You might see that in a year right there.
Duke number 2 in the country behind Pittsburgh. They split up in the rankings as they won Sunday against Virginia Tech. North Carolina lost to Boston College on the drive. Singler, this will go the other way.
You got a problem with that offensive foul call also?
I have a big problem with that call. He's underneath the basket. He's not trying to step away from the basket and defend. Great move by Singler.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding help defense. In position, takes the hit. That's a charge, baby.
Then Mike Krzyzewski's going to take a timeout here at the 8:56 mark. So Curry hasn't scored, but Davidson is within 4 points, which would surprise some people. You know, while we have a second, let's talk about Mike Krzyzewski. And we visited with him before the game about a lot of different things, including his experience around the U.S. Olympic team. That seemed to be a very valuable thing for the team coming together, but also for Mike. Seems like he took a lot out of it over the 3-year process.
Well, you know, the thing I liked is that he was so complimentary of how the NBA players conducted themselves. And so many people who just watch college basketball have this thought that these NBA players are difficult to coach. For the most part, they're not.
And he said, hey, I didn't have one problem, not one problem dealing with those guys. The people around them, the families, he said it was an outstanding experience.
Over the 3 years, and he hopes that his presence, Jim Boeheim as an assistant, Jerry Colangelo running USA Basketball, that kind of working together with the NBA and the NCAA will help foster better working opportunities both ways. Curry, a forced 3, but it'll stay down here with Davidson. Guys, that's my favorite snapshot of the year in sports. The coaches don't get medals from the Olympics, and all of the coaches, the 3 assistants and the head coach, had the players put their gold medals around their necks for a picture.
Now, if I was Coach K, I would have run and never given them back.
Chased down by Rossiter to Curry. He's getting no room to operate. And Duke's doing a terrific job of frustrating the nation's leading scorer.
And he has struggled the last 2 games against big-time competition, Purdue and West Virginia. And that's because he doesn't have as many creative offensive players around him. They're more dependent type players, particularly when the competition level is amped up like it is here at Duke tonight.
Each team 10 turnovers, each team 5 field goals. 8.5 in the first half, Duke leading by 4. Elliott Williams in for the first time for Duke, the freshman out of Memphis. Shire on the take, out of bounds off Davidson. Duke ball 13 to shoot.
Yeah, I can see how Coach K would turn down an NBA job. There's no better place. He is living an ideal, perfect world here. He's the king, and deservedly so.
A building named after him, a court named after him, 14 acres, winning 29, 30, 31 games a year. Life is good.
12 to shoot. Brian Barr comes to the bench. You see the Krzyzewski resume closing in on his mentor, Bob Knight. Coach, as he still refers to him, Knight, 902 wins, the all-time leader in major college basketball.
Hey, plus you get to play against Presbyterians. I mean, you don't have any Presbyterians in the NBA.
Nolan Smith is short. Curry tried to deflect the rebound out, could not. Duke has not scored a field goal in 4 minutes exactly. 12:05 mark. Last deuce for Duke. And Smith able to break the seal. Very quick defender, good shooter. Gets his first basket of the night. Curry still has none. And whistle on a foul underneath. So a huge struggle for Stephen Curry thus far. Zubek picks up that foul, and you can see Curry trying to find some space, trying to find something to work. Nolan Smith breaks a 4-minute drought for Duke, and the Blue Devils lead by a half dozen. Bob Stoop, thank you. That really didn't work out very well, did it? Right on timeout, Curry denied inside. Zubek was waiting. Lovedale went to the ground to get it and traveled. So out of the timeout, they try to get something for Curry, and there's been nothing available. Great defense by Duke all night.
Well, continuing to get the job done, keeping pressure on Curry, guarding him with 3 guys in the picture as he attempts to lay up, contesting shots. What I'd like to see Bob McCullough and Davidson do more, Coach and I talked about it during the break, is move them without the basketball. Get them on the move away from the defense staring them down, Coach.
I agree. I think right now all of Duke's defense is locked in on him when he's handling the ball at the point. Run him off the baseline, see if you can create some separation.
Duke hasn't exactly looked great thus far tonight. Bunch of turnovers, still leading by 6. Good defense by Davidson and Gosselin with 8 to shoot. Smith. And a little bit of why they made the change from Paulus to Smith at the point. Smith can give you something like that. And on the force, Davidson turns it over again. And Curry turns it over again.
And again, to me right there, he has good vision, but his decision-making needs improvement. Right there, he's not seeing the defense. The defense was back. It was set. You cannot try home run plays. You're turning the ball over way too much. You got to get shots up.
12 turnovers, 12 points for Davidson. Shire the lob for Zubek. Tallest guy on the floor gets jostled. And if it's Curry, that's 2. Nope, they're not going to call it on Curry. It'll be on roster. NBA doubleheader on ESPN on Friday night. We'll have the Celtics and Cavs. You guys will be in Cleveland to see the 2 best teams in the East. And then the Dallas Mavericks taking on Shaq and the Suns. So a bunch of great players on display. Friday night, our doubleheader starts with Kia NBA. Shoot around 7:30 Eastern. Boy, as you guys were getting ready for the Christmas game with the Celtics and Lakers, we were talking about the Celtics and 70 wins and all that kind of stuff. Now, same number of losses as the Cavs.
Let's face it, right now, Boston is not playing good basketball, and their bench is not good enough, I don't believe, to win another championship without additions.
I think they're having problems with their bench and also defensively. They are not getting after it the same way.
17 foul on Davidson, the 1-and-1. Both free throws knocked down by Zubek, a very good free throw shooter. He'll sit. Lance Thomas comes in as the Dukies extend it out to a 10-point lead.
See, if I'm Zubek, you're a better person than I am. I'm missing that free throw. If I know Lance Thomas is at the scores table, I'm going to keep my PT on.
They blitz McKillop with the double at midcourt. And, guys, there you see Curry not bringing the ball up. And they see McKillop, and they attack him.
Yeah, that's why Bob McKillop's coaching, and we're sitting up here. You know what I mean? Their unbelievable quickness advantage, trapping, swarming, it's very difficult.
A nice shot there. Welcome to Duke. Cameron Crazy's waiting for Steph Curry. Davidson hasn't knocked down a field goal in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Curry jostled by Shire. It'll stay down here. Curry played here once. They played Duke each year. Played here as a freshman, only scored a couple of points. He said he did notice the Cameron Crazies. Somebody had a sign that said 8 o'clock, and it said, Curry, it's past your bedtime, alluding to the youthful looks of Curry. There's the hazing.
You got to give credit to the job that Smith is doing on the ball. A lot of young players say, hey, my guy is not a threat. But his pressure is allowing the job to defend Stephen Curry. It's making it much easier to guard him.
Shire switches on him. Curry got a step and gets his first basket at the 6:03 mark.
And that's what he has to do more of. He's a great jump shooter, but sometimes don't settle for the jumper. Look to get into the thick of the defense.
Nice fake by Shire is going to give him a chance for a three-point play as Gosselin got caught with the hand in the cookie jar. First foul on Max Paulus Gosselin.
This is just good basketball. Ball movement, sells the shot, fake, one dribble. That's textbook basketball. You do that in the gym all by yourself. That's how you get it done offensively.
Shire, the junior, out of the Chicago suburb of Northbrook. Knocks down the free throw. He's inside of 20 points now, 19 points away from 1,000 for his career. He'd be the 57th Duke player, 7,000 in his career, and Nolan Smith calls for too close guarding McKillop. 16 fouls on Duke, 1-1 for Davidson on the next one. Smith out, Paulus in for the Blue Devils.
And right now, with no big man on the floor, Lance Thomas and Singler, they can switch all screens. So it's going to be very difficult for Curry, unless he puts the ball on the floor and attacks the basket, to get enough room to shoot jump shots.
And Luntdale slips it. Going to go the other way. Offensive foul.
Hey, I know I don't have the pull, but I hope Dickie V does, to get this charging thing under control. Right here, hey, this is good effort. Great slip screen, great pass. He's late. He's not even there on time, and he's sitting under the basket.
I totally agree with you. That's a bad call. It turns, attacks the basket. That should be a three-point, going to the field goal, going to the free throw line and knock down a three-point play.
On the take, Singler, as he put it on the deck, he was fouled. So, Mark, we've identified a potential stress point for Jeff if he decided to go to college coaching. Officiating.
Yeah, but this is Jeff. He has more than just one stress point.
I said A.
Oh, okay.
Not B, but A.
Good point. Yeah. He would have a problem, a serious problem.
That one was on Curry, and that's his second.
I'm shocked that you guys go at me like that. I'm a person that brings people together versus divides people. Are you kidding me? And Shire, was Shire the one driving? I thought Singler was the one driving it to the rim, but I'm impressed with Singler. I like his first step. To me, he's the new wave four-man, inside out. I see him having a good future in the NBA as a four.
And they compare him here to the former great Celtic, John Havlicek, who's one of your all-time favorites.
I just wish I had his hair still. That guy looks better each year. Nice cut.
And Curry knocks down his second field goal.
But you see the difference, moving without the basketball, so he catches it and able to shoot before the help gets him to the pitcher.
Can't overestimate how much they have missed and will miss Jason Richards. He led the nation in assists, which is easy to do when you got that sweet shot of Curry on the back end of so many of your passes. But Richards did such a good job as a senior last year of getting Davidson into its stuff.
Took so much pressure off of Curry having to make every play. He was a guy that made plays for Curry.
You hear the shot clock as Singler can't connect. Good job crashing by Elliott Williams. His tip keeps the trip alive inside of 4.5. Rick Paulus out of Christian Brothers Academy, Syracuse, New York. Still plenty of shot clock to go.
We knew you had to throw in Syracuse in there somewhere.
Hey, look, it's his hometown. It's part of the fact-finding. Yeah, like there are no New York kids on the floor. Singler, they actually are. Singler for two.
Right on point.
No, but it was embarrassing how much you were sucking up to Paulus today.
Was it?
Yeah, it was embarrassing. Talking about Syracuse football like they have a future.
How's that Nazareth program doing, Jeff? Terrific football. McKillop. We're at 3:45, down 13. Coach's son, a sophomore, gets inside. He'll come to the line for some free throws after the timeout. Maybe a little bit of getting Curry going here, Mark.
No, we got some guys that's going to play on the next level. Stephen Curry does a great job moving without the basketball. As good a shooter as this world has seen. Knocked down at the free throw line, and then Singler put the ball on the floor and make a play. Attacking the interior of the Davidson defense. A PTP, baby.
Non-conference game at Cameron Indoor Stadium and center of attention against number 2 in the country, Stephen Curry, the number 1 scorer, held to just 4 points. Jeff Van Gundy, what have you seen so far?
Well, I think Duke's defense, holding teams to 39% shooting, has made life tough. Curry also has just made some bad decisions with this passing. There, a little bit of separation, missed a makeable shot, and then, again, not expecting the jumping, the trapping, the ball pressure that is so hard to deal with if you don't see it on an every game basis.
First time at the line for Davidson. First free throw was missed, and the second one missed by Brandon McKillop. So Davidson goes dry from the line. They shot only 7 of 17 from the field. And the story has been 13 first-half Davidson turnovers. Not like Duke's had a good half either. 10 turnovers and 9 of 19 from the field. Still a 13-point lead for the team behind only Pittsburgh in the polls. There's Curry using the speed and the ability to finish.
And that's why when you talk about him being a pro, he's going to be able to play the point guard spot in the pros. His ability to make plays, he's an unselfish and willing passer and a knockdown shooter. His future's awfully bright at the next level.
And you have to play him as if he's a left-handed player. He's much more adroit at going left, finishing left, and also he's a better shooter going to his left.
See if Davidson can keep this into single digits before the break. Curry has that range. And not his best looking shot. Paulus the rebound. Paulus and Nolan Smith together on the floor. Seeing a little bit more of that from Duke over the last few weeks. And Singler will draw some free throws with his nice drive. Remind you, Stuart Scott has the UPS halftime report coming up. After 2:36 tips off the clock. The bizarre story at Boston College. Their coach fired for interviewing with the Jets. Game over for the Pac-Man. And next level ready, Stephen Curry. We'll discuss that not just here, but on the UPS halftime report. Fouls on Steve Rossiter. It was his second. Singler, the only player in the game with more than 6 points. One more coming. Let's look at that drive by Curry earlier.
So this is what he's going to have to do more of to get his team back in this ballgame. Put pressure on the Duke defense and even make a play for himself or for one of his teammates. That was coast to coast, putting pressure. The help didn't come. Made the right decision, getting all the way to the cup.
And Duke's made the commitment, no airspace, so he can get off jump shots. So he's going to have to adjust. He has 2 baskets on drives to his left hand and another one on a backdoor cut that led to a short jump shot.
Thomas comes in for Singler, who sits down with 12 points. Davidson 0 for 2 at the line. Duke, as you see, 10 more points and a 13-point lead. Curry able to get away from David McClure and knock it down from the outside. He now has 8 points. So he's at 4 of his last 5.
What I like most about that, they set a double screen for the pick and roll, so it eliminates it forces you to make a decision as the second guy setting the screen defensively. Do you jump out? Curry able to get to his sweet spot.
And he's already got that NBA step back move going to his left hand to give him a little room to get off that sweet-looking J.
Senior McClure given a window that Lovedale closed. 10 on the clock, and Paulus. It'll be great to see his confidence go. I think Duke's going to need him as ACC play goes on. I was deflected out of bounds by Shire. Guys, it says so much, and I'm not saying it because the kid's from Syracuse, Mark, but it says so much about a guy who's been a starter and a huge part of the team. Senior year, loses that spot, but they haven't lost the kid.
Well, give him credit. Here's a guy that stayed true, didn't roll his eyes and become a cancer as far as a teammate is concerned, a true professional on the college level, and is willing to do whatever it takes to get this program where it once was as far as a legitimate chance of winning it all. Give him a lot of credit as a young player.
And give Coach Krzyzewski credit for making a tough decision. Yes. It's not easy bringing in a 3-year starter and saying, hey, you're coming off the bench, because our best chance of winning a national championship is with Nolan Smith starting at the point guard position.
Yeah, that's why you got to get the right players when you're recruiting. How many kids would be upset? How many parents would be upset? How many AAU coaches would be upset? The bottom line is your best interest in this program.
Singler, open look at the 3. Curry in transition, so good. Nice find of Lovedale inside for 2.
Every time he's gone at the basket, something good has happened for Davidson. And that time, good hesitation, good decision on when to pass the ball, not just to pass the ball.
Played really the back 4 or 5 minutes of this half with Smith and Paulus together. Nice drive by Singler. He's really looking good. Those 20 pounds he added in the offseason, hopefully to keep him fresh down the stretch, because that's where he faded. Bodies filled out, games continuing to improve. Lovedale tied up by the 7-1 Zubek. Foul call on Bryant.
Now I'm going to tell you, that time Curry had Singler on him, and to me, I know it's not how Davidson plays, but I would move it, and I would have Curry just attack their foreman every time they switched onto him to try to attack Singler. Singler's not having to guard anybody at this end.
And the reason why you would have an advantage if you did that is because Coach Krzyzewski, Coach K, feels very comfortable with his bigs defending the guards of Davidson. So you have to make them pay the price.
That's a good edit of yourself.
Yeah, he was a little remix. Don't try too hard.
I used to always like to ask our players in the locker room, like, at the shoot-around, if there was a tough name on the other team, like Wally Serbiak, to try to spell it. I know I could stump you with Krzyzewski right now.
Go ahead, you spell it right now.
I'm not even trying.
Okay, great.
I know it starts with a K. I see it down there on the court.
Mr. Big Talk.
Mike, I appreciate you, Mike, putting him on the spot rather than me. Way to be a team player.
How was that team? He's going after me.
Because I went after Mark earlier, sharing the ball.
Right.
Curry comes to the bench perhaps for the end of the half. He's got a couple of fouls, so no reason to pick up a third on him. He has 8 points. As the shot clock is off with Duke leading by 11. Smith initiates at 10. Singler gets a step. Zubek twice. Halftime. The fans go nuts for Brian Zubek. Averages 7.5 a game, has 6 in the first half. Steph Curry missed his first 4 shots. Here's Heather Cox. Except for the second half, Heather Cox down courtside. Mike Tirico, Jeff Van Gundy, and Mark Jackson. Give me your thoughts about the second half here, Mark.
Well, I think if you're either team, the question is taking care of the basketball. Curry has to be aggressive, and the Duke defense set the tone.
Yeah, and I think for me, Davidson's got to rebound the ball. They got out-rebounded by 8, so they had a turnover differential that was negative, a rebound differential that was negative. They actually shot the ball fairly well. They didn't just get to, but they couldn't get themselves to the free throw line either.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting what Coach Bob McKillop said at halftime. His team still seemed like they were playing nervous on the big stage like they did in the Purdue game a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't show that in their early season high-profile games, and getting a little bit of that, at least in the coach's mind, at the start here at Cameron tonight.
As a coach, the way you identify that is uncharacteristic turnover.
Beautiful to start the half. The dunk by Henderson. Off the nice feed by Kyle Singler. Duke extends to its largest margin, 15. Three by Barr. Bryant Barr is long, and Nolan Smith on the other end for the Blue Devils. He's so good coming out of the locker room. Although they were not against Virginia Tech, they let a halftime lead dwindle down to 4. Coach K called the timeout 2.5 into the ACC opener on Sunday, and it was lights out. Tech only scored 9 points the rest of the way. Steve Rossiter knocked that away, and here's Heather Cox.
Guys, I was able to catch up with the Duke coaching staff coming out of the locker room. Their obvious frustration, those 10 turnovers. They said our emphasis in this half is to get a shot on every possession and play with more poise. What they were happy with is their defensive effort, especially against Stephen Curry. They said, we made Curry take the tough shots early, then we lost sight of him, gave him some easy looks. The focus now, keep Davidson off that three-point line. They said that's the only way they can get back into this ballgame, Mike.
Yeah, and Davidson doesn't have an answer for Singler, who leads all scores with 17. Good job by Smith. Nolan knocked it away from Curry. And on the run, it's Jon Scheyer for Duke. Henderson for 3. They won't chain air ball after that. Not here. Get off the ball. We have a foul on Davidson. It'll be Steve Rossiter. 3 on Rossiter, junior out of Staten Island.
We really witnessed the package by Singler, doing a little bit of everything. Ability to put the ball on the floor, rebound, unselfish passer, knockdown, jump shooter. Really has the package.
And you said it before. Mike Krzyzewski told us in a radio interview today, he plays the position that so many of the Duke stars have played, like Grant Hill and Shane Battier, and even Dante Jones and Rashawn McLeod, as Shire knocks down the three, and Davidson's in a little bit of trouble here, down 21.
And you talk about that, you see the similarities even in a Mike Dunleavy, his ability to make plays on the offensive end.
It's a 10-0 run for Duke. Off the last basket of the first half. Curry misses. Henderson on the run. It's 3-on-1 with Smith down the wing.
Really poor transition defense to start the half by Davidson. Too many guys on the offensive board. Not enough guys back.
Max Paulus, Gosselin missed. Nice job inside by Rossiter, whose brother Ryan is a sophomore at Siena. It's a 19-point game. First two of the night for Steve. Davidson 10-2. Haven't lost at home. The cut will draw the foul as Henderson tries to finish inside.
Well, sometimes an overlooked player on this team is Jon Scheyer. Again, drives the defense off, steps back, which is actually more difficult going to your strong hand than it is to your weak hand. Good balance, good release. Shire's also an underrated defender, longer than you would think, even though he doesn't have that big, strong body, long and wiry.
Give me that again, the step back, tougher to your strong hand.
Yes, because you're not as balanced up. That's why you see Curry, when he shoots a step back, almost every time he's going left,
right, because
it's easier to square your body up. When you're going right, it's much more difficult to balance up, square up, and get your legs up underneath you.
You must have went to a shooter's clinic because I watched your jumper. Somebody told you that.
No, just because you can't do it doesn't mean you don't know what should be done. That's why I coach. If you can't play, you coach. And if you can't do both, you ref.
Oh, jeez.
That's right. That's the truth.
Very short. Henderson fouled in the backcourt. There's the first whistle of the night there on Davidson. While we have a second here, some guy, if you can't shoot or coach, defend.
And look at that stance. You can't go by me. Gary Rubash, I held him scoreless. Geneseo State. He couldn't get anything on me, Mark Jackson.
That's Robbie Benson from one-on-one. Are you kidding me?
Time out, Davidson. Swamped announcers, the NBA guys coming here to College Hoops. Duke leading by 21, and we're watching the best player on the #2 team in the country get it done, Kyle Singler for Duke.
I'll talk to some people around here early. They said if this guy stays all 4 years, his number will be hanging up in the rafters one day. The ability to make plays, put pressure on the defense by unselfish play, and then the pull-up jump shot. Has the package on the offensive end, a willing passer, and competes defensively.
Last foul was on Frank Benisi of Davidson before the timeout. Gerald Henderson gets the basket inside, and Duke has come out with a great start here. 4 of 6 to begin the second half.
And you see the value of a range shooting four-man. You can post up your three-man in Gerald Henderson and still space the floor. Excellent entry pass by Singler.
Ben Allison hands to Will Archambault. Brendan McKillop. Andrew Lovedale off the mark, and Duke all over the boards. And the finish by Singler. Duke nearly doubling Davidson. And the reaching foul is called on time.
I don't like Davidson's commitment to running back on the defensive end. Good job by Singler getting ahead of the defense. Excellent delivery from Smith, and then finishing at the cup.
And running the floor, I think it's misunderstood. It's not about your speed. It's only a 30-yard sprint. It's about how hard you'll run and how consistently you will run. If you run the floor as a big man in this game consistently, you will earn 2 to 3 layups in a game.
Push that foul over to Nolan Smith, not Singler. Leaves Singler with 1, Smith with 2. A bad pass thrown by Archambault, and another Davidson turnover. 15 now for the Wildcats. Smith off the mark, and Steve Rossiter goes to get the rebound. A travel called on Curry, who had no space to spin and turn. And we'll get the under-16 timeout with Duke opening this one up.
Well, Singler's been the best player on the floor tonight. Here, great effort running the floor, showing a hand, a target hand, good lead pass, good athleticism, catch and finish. Duke up big.
Mike Krzyzewski's legacy at Duke will go beyond the 3 national championships, 10 Final Fours. It is an entire community that has developed here, guys. The whole basketball complex, it's just extraordinary. And this is the first trip here for both of you. You got a chance to check out this new facility that opened last year.
Yeah, this puts some pro teams to shame, how nice their facility is. Great practice court, weight room, the history, the pictures. And then nothing better than talking to the people camping out in their tents.
Krzyzewskiville, it's a 16-2 run. Had a little one, said Brian Zubek, but he couldn't finish over Stephen Curry. Davidson, 11 of 28 from the field. Beautiful finish by Curry. Couldn't get it to go, but he draws the contact and the foul. We should mention Krzyzewskiville. I went out there this morning on my way back from coffee and a little run on campus. It is amazing. The kids are out there, and you guys got to visit with them. The tents are set up for the North Carolina game. After the Christmas break, after Christmas, really, December 26th, one of the kids told me, the first tent went up. There were about 40 tents out there as Curry hits the first for the North Carolina game, 5 weeks from tonight on ESPN. And it's a great deal. Maximum of 12 to a tent, but 8 people minimum have to be in the tent when the alarm sounds. And the last couple nights, it's been at 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning. If you don't have 8 in your tent's out of position. And that's how the seating and the entry and the line goes for the event of the year in Durham when North Carolina comes calling.
I called my wife afterwards. I said, you wouldn't believe what we just witnessed. I explained to her how the kids was camped out in tents. She said, for tonight's game? I said, no, February 8th.
Smith misses the 3. And Curry gets the rebound.
Me, I just try to scalp a ticket. I'm not staying out in the cold weather for 35 days.
Will Archambault with the fish. 2 words come to mind. New Yorker.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Good point.
And I don't doubt that some kids whose parents are from that area try to do the same. Great rebound and a snatch by Thomas. And another 3 for Henderson. He has 11.
I'm sitting there beginning to feel old as I look on the floor and see 2 kids out there, and Curry as the finish. Curry and Henderson, both guys' dads I played with.
Right. You know, it's funny. You saw at halftime with Stu Scott and the guys, with Steve Lavin and Tim Legler in the studio. They showed some of the last NBA game that Vital did 25 years ago. Shire knocks down a 3. Duke leading by 26. He has 13. In that game, I watched it on ESPN Classic the other day. Our friend Roger Twyble did the play-by-play. Celtics-Bucks, Game 2 of the East Finals in '84. There's a play where Mike Dunleavy draws a charge on Gerald Henderson, and you go back 2 decades, or go ahead 2 decades, and their sons both played at Duke going forward. Archambault misses. Nice job by Brandon McKillop to intercept the pass.
You really can't say enough about the job that Coach K has done here from the jump. Outstanding job building a legacy here at Duke.
Curry missed it. Tripp kept alive by the work of Rossiter, and he is fouled shooting the 3 by Jon Scheyer. Well, Jeff, I mean, your family's been in coaching obviously for years, and I'm curious your perspective on what Mike has done. And let's put the Olympic thing aside for a second, but what he's done to sustain here in this great league in the ACC.
Well, you think about it. Last year, I think they won 28, 29 games, and it was a down year. Right. To me, that says it all. This guy has set such a level of excellence that if they don't go to the Final Four, it's considered a down year. I mean, he's been to 10 Final Fours, won it, as you see, 3 times. And in this era of parity, players leaving early to go to the NBA so much, it's hard not to have down years, and they've been able to avoid that.
28-6 last year. They were in the top 10 all season, second to Carolina in the ACC, out in the second round of the NCAA tournament to West Virginia, and that's why people said, well, this wasn't a good season for them.
Yeah, you know what I think about? Forget about all the wins. I think about my college coach, Luke Kahn II, Hall of Fame at St. John. But what type of people are you developing? What type of young men? You look at the guys from Duke that Coach K has coached. They are grown men, experienced, class, special individuals.
The 23 here for Duke. After all 3 free throws from Curry, he now is in double digits with 11 points. Nice drive by David McClure to finish it. That's the one thing about this team. A senior like McClure, a senior like Paulus, and a junior like Lance Thomas coming off the bench. They have not had veterans coming off the bench to make it an 8-man rotation. That's a beautiful shot by Curry.
And I just want to go back to Krzyzewski for just a second. The other thing that I'm impressed about is his ability to coach different people. So he's coaching college players. We saw him the other night at a timeout against Virginia Tech. You know, he had some choice words for his team that I can't print or say here. And then in the Olympic experience, dealing with the best players in the NBA game, he dealt with them totally different. And that's what a great leader does. He details his message to the audience that he has, and I think it fit both.
Good defense by Davidson, but Singler at the back end of the shot clock able to make it. Gives Singler 21 points to lead all scorers. That's Paulus Gosselin from Quebec. A senior, went to the same high school as Will Archambault. 14 and 22 in red, same high school north of the border. On the drive, Singler jostled, and the foul was called. We talk about the coaches over the years with Mike Krzyzewski and the coaching tree. That's also one of the legacies, the building, the winning, the success. And you see the guys, Tommy Amaker, who struggled at Michigan. They were really close there. And I don't know if you've been watching the scores go by tonight, but Amaker now at Harvard, they're leading Boston College in the second half. That would be a huge win for them. Mike Bray's got Notre Dame going. Jeff Capel in Oklahoma. Davidson fans saw them. And Johnny Dawkins finally left here, went to Stanford, and has them off to a terrific start in the Pac-10.
Well, Tommy Amaker at Harvard, I did a clinic there this fall. I was shocked at their talent level. Their talent level could play at a mid-major level. They're that good.
Nice feed from Curry to Lovedale inside for 2. They really hit the recruiting trail hard last year and brought in some kids. And it'd be very interesting to see Coach K's assistants, if Tommy succeeds at Harvard and Dawkins at Duke, you know, the schools that have these terrific academic pedigrees. You have to understand the kind of kid you can bring in and make it all work and balance it.
Tell you what, if I'm an assistant here at Duke, I'm waiting. I'm holding out. I'm waiting for Coach K. When you're ready to leave, I'm going to be sitting here waiting to move over one seat.
Yeah, and I think when he does do that, and Wojciechowski and Chris Collins are there, they should have a center court cage match to decide who's the next head coach at Duke. And they should just go at it until one gives up and gives in.
Great finish by Curry, who now has 16. He's let the game come to him here a little bit. And a timeout will be called by Duke. Let's make it 15 officially now for Curry. And Coach K saw his guys let the marked man get right to the rack, and they'll stop it with a 21-point lead. 10:55 to go. It was a slow start for Stephen Curry, 0 for 4 from the field, but he has since found spaces to get shots off.
So what you want from special players, do they make the adjustment as the game goes on? Stephen Curry has certainly done that, struggling early, but putting pressure on this Duke defense, getting into the seams, knocking down shots for himself, and not settling offensively. Step back jump shot, but it started with inside-out attack when he began to turn the corner in transition, getting to the cup, and the game got so much easier.
First number was right for Curry, 16 points on the night, 8 each half. Mike Krzyzewski, of course, tutored by Bob Knight, who's now with us at ESPN, and Coach Knight comes on our radio show every couple of weeks. And I asked Knight about Curry, because he was just effusive in his praise of Stephen when he saw him in New York against West Virginia at the Jimmy V Classic. And Coach Knight made an interesting point. I said, would he be this good if he played in the ACC or the Big 10 or the Big 12, Big East? And he said he would be better because of the better players around him. It would bring his talents to a higher level. You guys agree with that?
Well, I totally agree with it. And the reason why is because when he's at Davidson, no disrespect for their talent level, but you can put 2 or 3 guys on him and gear your defense towards stopping him, and there's not as high a penalty to pay.
I agree, but I disagree with this. I don't think if Stephen Curry immediately went to a big school that he would have had the freedom to play through his mistakes. I think it was his first game. He turned the ball over like 13 times. Hey, if you're at a high major, there's going to be somebody else good enough to not warrant you getting a second chance. So I think more kids should do what he did, is go to a lower level school where you can play all the time from Jump Street and you can play through your mistakes.
Good block by Lovedale. Brandon McKillop, the coach's son. Tees up Lovedale. Give him all that one, folks. The block and the sweet finish for Andrew, born in Nigeria, discovered by McKillop in England at a basketball academy. And Bob McKillop has drilled internationally and done a lot of tours of duty, passing the X's and O's across the pond. Duke's offense a little stagnant here the last few minutes. Greg Polish directing with the clock inside of 10. Oh, good job by Curry to pick the pocket of Polish. So Davidson has scored the last 8. And Sonia and Dale Curry watching their elder son get to 18 on this famed floor.
You got to give Davidson a lot of credit. They had every opportunity to fold a tent, but they are battling and competing.
Curry guards Henderson. Lovedale the rebound. 9.5 left. Not a ton of time, so Davidson has to do it in a hurry. But do it in threes by Curry. First triple, 21 points, and all of a sudden, 14-point game. Mike Krzyzewski will take another timeout. As he does, we check in with Stuart Scott. We look forward to that. Dan Shulman and Dick joining us from Denver. Guys, Curry missed his first 3 field goals of this half. He's made his last 4, and a good defensive play to pick Paulus' pocket.
Well, I liked his effort on that play, but also when he was guarding Henderson, forced him into a bad shot, which then came to this step back again, going to his left for the 3. And before we go any further, Carmelo Anthony, lose that red jacket. That is awful. If you're hurt, you got to come with better than that.
I think it looked great.
You know you're slipping when you are critiquing somebody's wardrobe.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. If you look at me, I'm obviously dressed at Kmart, but it's better than being dressed by the Davidson fan club. That red was wow.
Henderson trapped in the air. Singler could not finish. Rebound by Rossiter, so Davidson can get it down to a dozen or 11. Curry getting no space, and the foul is called up top by Nolan Smith. We've had a series of timeouts here without the official timeouts. This is the under 12 whistle coming, and Davidson just trying to climb back in there. We'll see if Steph can keep the pedal down. Yeah, Danny, thank you very much. Good 3 there. 3-point opportunity by Shire, responding to the 3 on the other end. So Bob McKillop's son hits a shot. Davidson gets within 13, but a chance for Shire to complete the 3-point play and get the Duke lead back up.
By the way, Dante Jones defending Dwayne Wade. His strategy tonight, help.
He called for it quickly. Duke back up 16 at the timeout. Mike Krzyzewski, much like the Virginia Tech game 4 nights ago, getting after his team to play better defense. They've let a big lead sag here. Curry, 8 of 16 from the field, 21 points. A moment ago, he picked up his 3rd personal foul. Draws all the attention. McKillop missed the three. It's Lovedale inside with free throws coming, and he took that shot across the face.
But that was a great decision by Curry. He beat Singler off the dribble. Help came. He put it right on the money to McKillop. Good, solid, fundamental basketball play.
4 fouls on Zubek. We'll hear from Del Curry after this. Del Curry played over 1,000 NBA games, 16 years, was a first-round pick by Utah, was a star for a decade with the Hornets when they were in Charlotte, 40% career, three-point shooter, and the father of the man soon to be the number 2 all-time scorer at Davidson. He's 1 point away. Standing by with Heather Cox. Heather?
Thanks so much. Joined by Del and Sonia Curry, who, Del, 16 seasons in the NBA, but in March your son became an overnight sensation on the run to the Elite Eight. What kind of advice have you been able to give him as that spotlight has been so intense this season?
Well, that it all starts in practice. He's going to face the toughest defenses of anybody, and Duke's doing an excellent job today with the double team early, but he's just got to continue his work ethic and improve his game every year.
If I didn't know that you were Steph's parent, I wouldn't think you were involved at all. So stoic here, your hands in your pockets the whole time, never clapping, but on the inside, how much is the adrenaline pumping, and just how hard is it for you to stand here and watch from the sidelines?
Well, it was a little nervous for me driving here. This is my first time in Cameron, so I didn't know what to expect, but it's more than a basketball game. It's a treat watching the students and everybody, their excitement, so I'm just happy to be here and having fun.
Now, during your 16 years, you scored more than 10,000 points in the NBA, some of those with our very own Mark Jackson in Toronto. What do you remember most about Mark?
Just his hilarious ways he acted in practice, some of the unbelievable creative passes that he made. We both were slowing down when we played in Toronto, so we had to take extra care of ourselves. It was a fun time playing with Mark.
Certainly, we enjoy you spending time with us. And Mark, some things never change. You're still making us all laugh too up there.
Thank you, Heather. Thank Del for the visit. Game at 15. Shire on the drive, missed it. Stephen Curry 1 point shy of number 2 on the all-time point list at Davidson. Fred Hetzel sits in that mark, former number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft.
What year was that?
Curry misses the 3. It's in the 60s. I will find it for you.
Fred Hetzel?
Yes.
I think Curry's going to catch him. Is he going to catch him this year?
He only needs 1 point to get him, so I think...
I thought you said...
Hetzel's number 2.
Oh, who's
he was the number 1 pick in 65.
Ah, all right.
John Gertie's the number 1 pick. He can catch him with 473 points, 16 games.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he's going to get one more point.
Yes. Well, here's a great moment for Mark Jackson.
No, but this is why he was a fraud in some ways. He didn't even do this in practice. So this wasn't part of his routine. It was like, focus the attention on me. This I don't even know what this is. What is that when you put your fingers together like that?
The cut by Zubek, denied by Lovedale inside.
Plus, if you're going to do that, you have to shoot over 80%, right? You have to shoot over 80%.
Fraud? This is not a fraud. Look at young, trim, handsome, with the part shaved in his hair, Mark Jackson.
Oh, you went left.
Why are you going at me, man?
I'm just saying, you're elevating. Did you see that? There was no back end to that. You were just blowing by people.
You act like that was the first time you ever seen that. You did coach me.
No, I know, but it was a different pace to your game. You know what I mean? It was more like get a guy on his hip. It wasn't like direct blow-bys. You were embarrassing these guys off the dribble.
Don't try to get brownie points now. Don't try to be my friend now.
No, but what is that, with that free throw thing?
That's called fake hustle. That's just so you can say that people can say you were the guy that did that, yeah.
The foul on Lovedale is 4th. Pair of free throws split by Zubek, who goes to the bench with his 4 fouls. Lance Thomas checks in. 16-point lead for Duke. They jumped out to the early lead. It's been double digits since the midpoint of the first half. Davidson with a boatload of turnovers early on. Duke's defense keeping Curry in check. McKillop had nowhere to go. Went to the floor for the ball and is going to be called for the foul as he took Nolan Smith to the ground. Those were great teams, Mark. And Coach K made a great point when we visited with him. I know it's 23, 24, almost a quarter century ago when he played college basketball. That sounds longer, doesn't it?
That's a long time.
But and you guys played a great game against Duke among your good non-conference games. all juniors and seniors on the floor. That's the difference, and maybe what has balanced college basketball. The best players going to the best programs for a brief time, and we don't get juniors and seniors playing in those big NCAA tournament games.
It really shows you the difference. You can be a high school star back in the days and go to a quality program where you're just a role player waiting to get an opportunity. These days, you're a high school player. You go to a program, you're going to play right away, chances are, because there's no juniors or seniors that's affected.
Well, think about you. You played behind Mike Moses, right? And then went on and had, what are you, an assist in the NBA?
Second all time.
Right. So,
second to Stockton.
And so, by the way, you're second to Stockton. I don't think you're actually going to be known for that free throw post. You really didn't have to go to that. They're going to know you if you're second all time in assists. But it's true. Like, you didn't play right away. You had to earn your time. And you probably thought, Louis was, misusing you. But it was good for you to, have to earn your way with veteran leadership.
Don't say I probably thought that. I still think it.
Steve Rossiter at the line. He's got 9 boards to go with his 3 points. Take this chance to remind you we have 3 top 20 college teams this Saturday in the Big East. Louisville taking on Villanova. And then Kyle Singler and the Blue Devils will have an ACC test out of the league, or out of Cameron on the road against Florida State. College basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy this Saturday on ESPN. Pair of free throws for Rossiter. It's a 14-point game with 6:11 to go.
Now, if you're Davidson, you're still in this ball game. It's about getting a couple of stops and then pushing the ball off of turnovers or missed shots.
Nolan Smith handling at the point for the Blue Devils. Pushing off. Deflected out by Duke. Still a full shot clock. Essentially for Bob McKillop's team.
And I'll say this, Steph Curry right now is a starting point guard in the NBA.
Starting point guard
in the NBA.
With all those turnovers.
Have you watched the league? This guy has special talent as far as shooting the basketball, and he's a willing passer, and he competes. I love Steph Curry.
And the attention, he's distributing nicely. Lovedale gets it. The lead's a dozen. 7 boards and 5 assists for Curry to go with 21 points.
I'm not going to go as far as say he's a definite starter. I think it would depend on what team he goes to. And I think for a guy who's played with so much freedom in his college career, it's going to be a challenge to have to defer at times to other great players.
Henderson almost exploded to the basket. Not close enough. It can get to 10 or 9. Curry trying to go all the way. Met by Singler. Good job defending the front of the cup by Singler. Davidson ball.
Watching him, he's not a guy that's out there just trying to get his. He's making plays. He's an aggressive, big-time scorer, but he's playing within the system.
It's good that the 2 guys who didn't play point guard in the NBA disagree with you about being a starting point guard in the NBA.
I didn't know you disagreed.
He did it subtly right there. Yeah.
Quietly said, when Jeff said, I don't think he'd start on every team, I said,
My statement didn't say he'd start on every team. He's a starting point guard right now in the NBA.
Curry does talk about the NBA players who he's been able to observe and be around at summer camps, and the entire experience of thinking about what's going to happen at the next level.
Going to different camps with Chris Paul, Steve Nash, and being in Charlotte, going to a couple of Bobcats games and running into some of those guys, and they comment about what they see from afar about how we're playing and things like that. So little things of advice.
And that stuff is very important. I mean, the summer camp story is a big deal in basketball. And when you get players like a Nash and a LeBron James who bring these other players in around their camp, it's a great benefit for a guy like Curry to be around them.
Oh, heck. I mean, when you have a chance to work with and talk to students of the game, too, not just great players, but guys who have a high basketball IQ, it can do nothing but benefit you, because he's making a difficult transition from a 2-guard mentality to more of a scoring point guard mentality.
It also shows you his mentality that he's willing to listen. He's willing to listen and steal from the guys that's there and doing it on that level.
12-point game, 5:14 to go. Davidson to trigger. 25 on the shot clock. Curry, a fake on Shire, gave him room to get to the rack, and Davidson has cut this one down to 10 at the 5-minute mark.
The ability to shoot the basketball forces the defense to bite on the shot fake, and it allows him to get into the seams of the defense.
And with that basket, moves to number 2 on the Davidson all-time list. Where will Duke go for offense? It's Smith, short on the 3. Duke has gone cold, and Davidson a chance to get this to 8 or 7. The baby-faced assassin look of Curry for 3. Gerald Henderson goes up to get the board. Let's see, usually in these situations, Duke gets organized, runs something good that gets into the free throw line. How many times have you seen that?
Yeah, they're going to try to spread the floor right here, take time, and also isolate Singler.
Remember, you got Lovedale guarding him. And on the switch, Lovedale picks up Lance Thomas. Smith, good defensive help, and Lovedale with a send-back. Coach K can't believe that wasn't goaltending.
I thought that was a good block.
Curry looking for space, but long Thomas in his way. Lovedale works Singler, beautiful spin, 8-point game. 3:50 to go.
Big time post move by Lovedale, failing the defense and spinning off.
What a comeback here for Davidson. First day of classes, Duke students urging the Blue Devils on as the Blue Devils take a timeout. 69-61. Duke down to 1 timeout left. Davidson has 2.
We talk about Davidson battling back in this ball game. Help defense, get it out of here. Not on my watch, says Lovedale. And how about on the other end as Coach K complains about the non-call? Dribble penetration, you're not open, well, give up the basketball. Lovedale says, thank you so much. Mama, there goes that man exploding to the cup.
Is that what he said?
I read his mind.
Something like that. I see. Yeah. Duke has not scored since the 8:05 mark. They once was a 26-point lead with 14 and a half to go, now down to 8.
Exactly, and that's why, as a coach, you're constantly preaching to your team, play the game, not the score. So Duke takes a mental break for 4 or 5 minutes. Davidson continues to compete, play hard. They get on a little bit of a roll. Now they're confident. And it still looks like Duke's got the game, in pretty good hands. But when you have an explosive player like Curry, anything can happen.
Duke has missed its last 5 shots. Nolan Smith, Shire, Singler, Thomas, and Henderson. 5 to shoot. Singler, 3. No. Shire, good rebound. Nice decision. And why not burn some clock? You got the lead. There you go.
A smart play by Smith. Pulling the basketball out.
Duke will take this trip under 3 minutes.
And that was, again, another great defensive possession by Davidson, but the ability to finish a possession with a defensive rebound has been difficult for them.
Fans will turn the chance of the shot clock. Henderson going spin. Thomas, it'll be a 3rd try on this trip, but it's a foul on Curry with Davidson already over the limit. Stephen Curry's 4th foul. 2:41 left. Duke free throws coming. A big lead is down to 8. That is a tremendous win. Think about Boston College down the road, beat the #1 team in the country on Sunday. That's phenomenal stuff for Tommy, who's worked very hard to build that program. And I know the guy down there on the court, Coach K, when he gets in the back and finds out that score, he'll be certain to give Tommy a call next day or so. 1-1 Lance Thomas. Got the first one. Duke had been quiet offensively for the last 5 minutes, 20 seconds. Guys, your rating on Stephen Curry?
I'm going to give him an 8 as far as point guard skills, learning the position, defensively a 7, not really competing the way I'd like to see, shooting a 10, intangibles a 10. He gets after it.
Well, this is where grade inflation in college has really shown its true colors. Too high a mark. Point guard skills, good vision, not great decision making. Not really an active defender, but he can shoot the ball with the best. and he can. I love his will to get better every year.
They need him now, down 10. Thought about the step-back three. Singler not giving him that oft-talked-about airspace. Will Archambault will launch three. And Shire gets the rebound for Duke at the 2:15 mark.
You are the Simon Cowell of judging. Those were some tough numbers you put up there.
They have some dissension on their program, too, right now.
That's right.
You know,
so that leaves him as Paul Abdul, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Either Randy or Paula.
And they're even adding another judge. For what purpose, I don't know.
I know, right? Shire come down the lane, draw the contact, and there'll be a foul on Davidson. As Rossiter got in the way of Shire coming down to the basket.
What I love most about Duke offensively is each guy can be trusted with the basketball. Passing, moving, cutting, making plays. That makes them a dangerous team to defend.
That's 5 fouls on Rossiter, Jeff.
And it was interesting talking to Coach Krzyzewski about his finishing unit and how he wanted to structure that with all great free throw shooters, the versatility to put Singler at the 5 spot now, McClure playing as a smaller 4-man, and then their better ball handlers who are all great free throw shooters.
A little different than the Olympic experience when he wanted his finishing lineup to include LeBron, Kobe, and D. Wade, and then just fill in 2 guys around him.
Chris Bosh, one of them, great defender on that team.
Hey, if you're putting out Wade, Kobe, and LeBron, you're good. You're a good team, and you're a good coach, too.
This is one thing about how Krzyzewski's team will be able to finish games in the ACC. The good ball handlers and terrific free throw shooters like Shire. 3rd in the league at 87% on cue.
Do you believe in that announcer jinx?
Absolutely not. Don't even get me started on that.
I don't either. I don't know where that started.
Like what we say matters in anything. 100 seconds left, down 11. Got to get some shots here.
And they need quicker opportunities. Yep. And this is where you don't have those breakdown guys off the dribble. It makes it tough.
Gosselin short, got his own miss. Didn't go right back up with it. And McKillop was short. Steph Curry will try to get something going quick, but Shire takes it away. With $1:17 to go. And Duke on their way to win 13. Shire.
I almost felt like jumping in with the chant. No, seriously, I have chills right now. This is quite, this is everything it was advertised to be.
Curry, bang in the bucket, chance for a three-point play. You're like a mix between Seinfeld and Kramer. That's what you are.
I'm serious. It's just like unbelievable. Our house, these guys are special students.
You hear the crowd saying, our house, is time to clear out and dance. Shire knocks down the jump shot and continues to get the crowd involved.
Drive home safely now.
He said I was generous with my numbers. You just gave this guy Seinfeld and Kramer numbers.
No, he said like.
Combo,
that didn't mean,
combo.
That did not mean as good.
Curry coming out here with a couple of fouls. Let's see if he has 4, trying to keep him away from getting the 5th with 26 points, and they'll bring him back in offense defense at 75-64, and they will.
And that was his rest for the second half. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
Hey, that's what this guy is. If you want to win, he's going to have to play, obviously, big minutes. And I haven't seen someone chomp on their mouthpiece like that since B.J. Armstrong. That used to infuriate me with the Chicago Bulls. They're beating us, and he's chomping on his mouthpiece.
This free throw gets Shire for the night to 21 points. And if he makes the next one, he will have 1,000 points. He'll become the 57th Duke player to hit the 1,000 mark. 6'5" junior guard out of Northbrook, Illinois. Number 57 with 1,000 at Duke. And mom sees another proud moment for her junior son. Curry's brother Seth, he breaks down Nolan Smith. He almost had a 4-point play as he had the NBA idea of getting the shot up as soon as he heard the whistle and drew the contact. Curry's brother Seth is the top scoring freshman in the country, playing at Liberty. He hit a shot to send the game to double overtime on Monday. The game at Liberty ended up losing. That was while shooting 3. So we'll get 3 free throws coming.
I'm just saying this. I know they don't have a younger brother, but if they did, okay, if the Currys had a younger brother, if I'm a major college coach, I'm taking him right now. Well, I'm not saying, hey, he might not be good enough. 2 kids.
That the big schools missed on?
Yeah.
Well, he does have a younger sister who's in middle school, Seidel. So I'm going to say I don't have a coaching job. I don't have a program. But in 8th grade, I'd like to offer her a scholarship.
And that's what colleges are doing now, too. That's when they're getting commitments. I'm taking Seidel right now if I'm Duke or UNC.
Absolutely.
You know, and Seth had options. He said, hey, I don't want to play at Davidson because I don't want to play with my brother, and I also don't want to play with a team that would play against him. I don't want to go against my brother.
They're going to the table to make sure that this is behind the line for 3, and it is. So they called it correctly on the floor. Mike Eads, Mike Stewart, Doug Sherman's the officials.
If I was Bob McKillop, I would have tried to convince him to go to prep school for a year and we'll get rid of Steph, and then you can play for me. Come on.
Seidel, the daughter in middle school, won her game yesterday. As a matter of fact, this family's had a wild week where Saturday they both played. They were able to see Steph play and then drive to see Seth play in his game. Is only about 45 minutes or so away. Then Seth played again on Monday against Presbyterian, the double overtime game. So the Curry family had to do that trip as well. And then Seidel's game on Tuesday in the Charlotte area and here tonight. That's pretty neat times for the family. It really is.
That's big-time play, and they should be awfully proud, not just the players that they've raised, but the quality and class young men.
Oh, by the way, all those struggles early on, 29 points. Right on the nation's leading scoring average. 10-point game, 33 seconds left. And a pre-inbounds foul on Brandon McKillop. As we remind you that Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale are waiting with the Heat and Nuggets. Dickie V calls an NBA game for the first time in 25 years.
That guy's passion for the game, you know, he really deserved that Hall of Fame. I mean, this guy revolutionized, from an announcing standpoint, like college basketball. A whole niche was developed by him in the college game.
Greg Paulus, normally a solid free throw shooter, misses it. Because Dick coached the Pistons, 78-79, was fired, and then ended up getting to ESPN to call our network's first college basketball game. That will be 30 years ago this coming December. I hope we have a big game planned for December 5, 2009 for Vitale to call. On the 30th anniversary of the first. And back to the NBA. Now we're checking at the table here on subs. McKillop was trying to go offense, defense, and get Curry back in. Nolan Smith also at the table. And Bryant Barr.
You know, listening to Dickie V also give the speech at the Hall of Fame, that was classic. Absolutely not a dry eye in the place. Work the crowd, put everybody in, pitch a perfect way to really show how class he is.
I think that speech is still going on, if I'm not mistaken. He never won for short for words, but it was emotional. It was heartfelt.
Davidson's going to take a timeout because they couldn't get Curry in. Fans get on Bob McKillop for that 11-point game. McKillop's a teacher, and he's a wonderful teacher who had chances to leave Davidson after their magical run in the tournament last year, but he stayed, and so has his star, now a junior, Stephen Curry. And here's a little capsule of what he did tonight, guys.
And if I'm Bob McKillop, I hope this guy stays another year, because you don't get these guys too often. The ability to upgrade your program, put everybody else on your back, and make special plays. Can't wait to once again the NCAA tournament, where this guy seems to miraculously elevate his game to another level. A special, special player, and has done a tremendous job at Davidson.
What games those were, guys? I'm sorry, Jeff. Gonzaga, Georgetown, Wisconsin, and I was there with my son in Ford Field watching that Kansas game, and the ball comes to Jason Richards down 2, and the ball's in the air with a chance for a George Mason-like Cinderella to the Final Four, and just goes off. It was an amazing game, and they lost to the eventual national champs.
And for him to trust Jason Richards in that spot, yes, I think is a great statement for their program.
There's your guy, Bryant Barr. Couldn't hit the 3. And foul is called as Lovedale was going up to pull down the rebound. Well, Dick Vitale joins us from Denver. Dick, we saw a pretty game effort by Davidson to get back in this game in the second half. Well, he almost got 32 in Cameron, Dick. Couldn't hit that last shot. Scramble goes out of bounds and touched by Lovedale. It'll be Duke ball here with 7.3 seconds, and we'll get to the guys for the Nuggets and the Heat momentarily.
Have I ever told you how much I appreciate Dick Vitale's knowledge of the game?
Duke will move to 13-1. They're number 2 in the country behind Pittsburgh. They'll see Florida State on Saturday. Davidson back to the Southern Conference the rest of the way until a bracket buster game on the Family of Networks late February. Duke wins by 12 as Curry scores 29 tonight. Fun game, guys. Good being with you. It was a blast. And an honor for all of us to come to Cameron and see Stephen Curry and see Mike Krzyzewski get win 8-16. Our final score tonight, Duke 79, Davidson 67. See you on ESPN News for more on this game. But now we'll send you to Dan Shulman and Dick Vitale in Denver, and we enjoy you guys calling the Heat and the Nuggets as our NBA swap continues.